For older adults, it's recommended that a healthy senior should shoot for 7 to 9 hours of rest per night. As your body gets older, sleep becomes increasingly important because your body becomes more susceptible to disease and it's also at a higher risk for injury, which means sleep prevents unnecessary accidents and it gives your body adequate time to rest and recover and fight disease. In this video, I'll share the top 10 sleep tips and why it's so important to give some of these a try. So stay till the end because you don't want to miss out on the one that'll work best for you. In case you're new, I'm Cyn Meyer, the founder of Second Wind Movement and a life coach for older adults who are striving to turn their retirement years into their best years full of purpose and meaning. At the base of that is a solid foundation of good health, mentally and physically, and sleep helps all of that. As helpguide.org puts it, testing sleep is like taking your temperature. It's an indicator that's linked to so many health, physical and non-physical issues. So physicians can use it as an indicator to explain why certain people may feel depressed or anxious or drowsy during the day. One study by Dr. Daniel Chapman and his colleagues found that if you often experience insufficient amounts of sleep, it's linked to a much higher likelihood of having anxiety or depression or both. Sleep is also closely tied to your heart health. Christopher King's study, which followed 495 healthy people and measured their sleep using wrist devices, found that people who sleep more are less likely to develop significant calcification of their coronary arteries. And then there's your cognitive health. When you get a good night's rest, you can better focus on your memory care, making your brain stronger to fight against cognitive impairment. Sleep works with your immune system to repair any damage and it helps fight dementia. All in all, there's study after study that shows us the importance of sleep. Sleep deprivation increases your potential for cardiovascular diseases, diabetes, decreased production of antibodies, weight issues, and even breast cancer in female older adults, on top of issues with your mental health and your cognitive health. So let's dive right into our top 10 tips for getting a good night's rest. Number 1, sync up your circadian rhythm with bright daylight. Your body has a natural clock that keeps track of your daily cycles, and natural and bright light during the day impacts this rhythmic flow. Increase your exposure to bright light during the day because it'll send a trigger to your brain, body, and hormones to stay awake during the appropriate daylight hours. In one study of insomnia patients, bright exposure during the daytime not only improved the quality and length of their sleep, but it also reduced the time it took to fall asleep by 83%. In another study, specifically among a group of elderly and nursing home patients, researchers discovered that 2 hours of bright light exposure during the day increased sleep duration by 2 hours and sleep efficiency by a whopping 80%. Number 2, decrease your exposure to blue light in the evening. Just like you send stay awake messages to your brain with bright lights during the day, you need to do the opposite at night and reduce your exposure to light at night. And blue light, emitted from your digital devices and your screens, is the worst when it comes to tricking your brain into thinking it's still daytime. This can reduce important sleep hormones like melatonin, which makes it more difficult for you to relax and enter deep slumber. So if you're someone who likes to watch TV before bed, or if you get sucked into doom scrolling, it's worth aiming for like a no screen time rule at least 2 hours before hitting the sack. Number 3, be consistent with your sleep and wake times. Aside from consistency being one of my favorite coaching mantras to you, it's another helpful signal to your body to help keep your circadian rhythm regular and flowing nicely. When you go to sleep and wake up at the same time every day, it can really impact the quality of your sleep in the long term. Researchers have found that irregular sleep patterns can mess with not only your circadian rhythm, but also your melatonin level. So it's worth the effort of getting into like a solid retirement structure. Number 4, stop your liquids 1 to 2 hours before bedtime. This is more of a logistical one, so it's short and sweet. If you stop drinking a couple of hours before bed, that'll decrease your need to get up for restroom breaks in the middle of the night. That also includes alcohol. Even though your nightcap can make you feel drowsy right away, it can disrupt your sleep later on in the middle of the night. Along the same vein, number 5, don't eat too late in the evening. Try to find that happy medium of not being too starved or stuffed right before bed. You can aim to avoid heavy or big meals at least 2 hours before bedtime. Also, caffeine and nicotine can impose stimulating effects that can take several hours to wear off, so just be wary of that. And late night eating can have a negative impact on the quality of your sleep, and it affects the natural release of growth hormone and melatonin. So clear out those habits well before bedtime if you can. If you want to take it a step further and get into the nuances of things, carbs play a role in your ability to fall asleep and the quality of your sleep. It can go in either direction, so high carb versus low carb is just something to pay attention to. For high carb, one study reported a high carb meal eaten 4 hours before snoozing helped people fall asleep more quickly. Low carb, yet in another study, researchers found that a low carb diet improved sleep. So if you're training your body to acclimate to a low carb diet, it might be beneficial to just stick it out. Something to be aware of. Number 6, don't nap too late in the afternoon. Naps are great, and if you can afford the time for a quick day rest to quickly rejuvenate, that's fantastic. It's recommended to limit your naps to about 30 minutes and to avoid taking them too late in the day. Lengthy daytime naps can interfere with your night slumber and when you fall asleep, so you want to get into a daily rhythm of getting up and falling asleep at the same time each day. Number 7, exercise regularly. Physical exercise is so good for your overall health and your well-being, and it definitely benefits your sleep quality too. So check out these studies. One study of the elderly found that people who exercise can sleep 41 minutes longer at night and take half the amount of time to fall asleep. Another group of researchers studied insomnia patients and found that exercise decreased the amount of time to fall asleep by 55%, reduced total awake time at night by 30%, and increased total sleep time at night by 18%. It even found that insomnia patients who exercised experienced 15% reduced anxiety. So exercise has benefits all around. Number 8, optimize your bed comfort. Your mattress actually matters, and a decent pillow situation to go with it. Not only do you want to avoid agitating your back pains or worsening your body stiffness, but you also want to avoid ruining your sleep quality with a poor bed and pillow setup. One study found that a new mattress can improve your sleep quality by 60%, reduce your back pain by 57%, shoulder pain by 60%, and stiffness in your back by 59%. So it might be worth the cost to upgrade your bed at least every decade. The National Sleep Foundation recommends replacing your mattress every 5 to 10 years and your pillows every year. Number 9, cozy up your bedroom. This can mean a ton of things, but basically make your bedroom a super relaxing sanctuary where you feel super comfortable and relaxed. A couple ideas are adjust your room temperature and find that Goldilocks perfect amount of degrees. Remove the glaring alarm clock if you're someone who wakes up and constantly looks at the time. This can make insomnia matters worse, where your mind starts to race about how much sleep you're missing out on, which is the opposite of what you're going for when you're trying to relax and de-stress. My favorite tip is to remove the TV and your phone to avoid that blue light right before bed and doom scrolling. Rather than fill your head with a bunch of mindless noise or worrisome news, this will help you clear your head instead. And finally, number 10, practice mindfulness and clear your mind. A racing mind can totally keep you up at night, so it's worth trying really hard to be intentional about clearing your mind before bed. Mindfulness is not just a buzzword, it has real benefits and it comes in so many forms, so it's worth giving it a shot, whether it's journaling, meditating, doing breathing exercises, or even some yoga moves. Practicing mindfulness can help ground you in a good night's rest. It's something so unique to you and you need to do it as consistently as possible. So try out several different ideas until something really resonates. And by the way, this can even include taking a hot bath. Taking a hot bath can trigger your parasympathetic nervous system, which is your rest and digest system, where your body conserves energy and slows your heart rate. So basically anything to regulate your nervous system is super helpful. Entering a calm and relaxed state before bedtime will help you ease into dreamland. One study found that taking a hot bath 90 minutes before bedtime improved the quality of sleep and increased the amount of deep sleep. In case you want to try out other mindfulness practices, we have more helpful resources on that. I'm a hardcore fan of finding something that suits you specifically, so I'll leave a link in the description right below the video in the resources section. To recap our top 10 sleep tips, number 1, sync up your circadian rhythm with bright daylight. Number 2, and then in the evening, decrease your exposure to blue light. Number 3, be consistent with your sleep and wake times. Number 4, stop your liquids 1 to 2 hours before bedtime. Don't eat too late in the evening. Don't nap too late in the afternoon. Number 7, exercise regularly. Number 8, optimize your bed comfort. Cozy up your bedroom. And number 10, practice mindfulness and clear your mind. No matter how you go about it, there's some practice for everyone worth trying, because sleep is so foundational to all the other exciting things that you want to have energy, health, and vitality for. Thank you so much for being here and for striving to be your best during retirement. We need more people like you to help shift our culture to be better. Please like, share, subscribe, and comment on this video. Every engagement that you make with our videos helps us do our job better of creating helpful content for this important audience of older adults. So thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the next video.